They're classified by the FBI as domestic terrorists. While they live in this country, they believe they're separate or sovereign citizens who don't have to answer to any government authority. The FBI says the sovereign citizen movement is growing, with many people in Central Ohio classifying themselves as sovereign. Well, 10 TV's Jennifer Gerald takes a look at the threat these extremists pose to those who enforce the law and what's being done to protect them.
3 years ago, 2 veteran police officers with the West Memphis, Arkansas Police Department stopped a white minivan. Inside, Jerry and Joe Kane, the father and son from Ohio, were traveling across the country, teaching others how to get away with not following the law. The officers were only on the scene a few minutes when they were both gunned down by a 16-year-old with an AK-47.
These guys just shot a police officer.
Jerry and Joe Kane were considered sovereign citizens, people who decide which laws to obey and which to ignore.
I had never heard sovereigns, never heard the term sovereign citizens.
Bob Potter was chief of the West Memphis Police Department when Officer Bill Evans and Sergeant Brandon Potter were gunned down. Brandon was the chief's son. Hours after they were brutally attacked, their alleged killers were cornered in a Walmart parking lot and killed in a shootout with police.
I found out the night they were killed. An FBI agent told my assistant chief that they were in the FBI database as domestic terrorists, and they were sovereign citizens.
Potter says that day he lost his passion for law enforcement, but found a new passion in educating others about the sovereign citizen movement.
My mission is just to give them as much information as I can so they can go home to their families at night.
Potter says he now devotes his life to teaching officers how to spot anti-government extremists looking for things like fake license plates, driver's licenses, and social security cards. Special Agent Kenneth Smith investigates domestic terrorism for the FBI. He says sovereign citizens often notify law enforcement of their beliefs before an encounter ever takes place.
They send a series of documents, sovereign anti-government documents, to local police chiefs, superintendents of state police, and sheriffs as well.
Police say late last year, Genoa Township resident Gabriel Pace filed this 28-page document with several law enforcement agencies, including Westerville Police. In it, he claims certain laws don't apply to him. That's information these officers say they remembered when they went to serve him with warrants earlier this year. Police say the confrontation turned violent. Pace resisted arrest, assaulted a police officer, and punched a police dog. But multiple officers and county deputies were standing by, prepared. Some had attended anti-terrorism training hosted by the Ohio Attorney General's office.
Part of what we try to teach in our course is you have to kind of get in these people's mind and understand where they're coming from. Because they're not coming from the same place you and I are coming from. They're coming from a very different world.
And it's a world Bob Potter says law enforcement cannot overlook.
If Brandon and Bill had the information we have today, I am convinced they'd be alive. I know they would be. They didn't have it. None of us had it.
Jennifer Gerald, 10 TV News.
Gabriel Pace pleaded not guilty to obstructing official business and assaulting a police officer and a police dog. He's currently out of jail, awaiting trial on those charges. In an email from his attorney, he says Pace denies membership in any such organization.